Hey guys, welcome back for another reading wrap up. Today I'm going to be wrapping up the books that I read in March and in April because these 2 months I actually didn't read as many books as I did in the other months that I have shared. So I figured I would just squash them together and share them both at once. So if you want to see the books that I read in March and in April, then stick around. If you are new to my channel, I just want to welcome you. My name is Sarah, and here on my channel, I love to share content on homeschool, motherhood, my faith in Christ, and books. So if you like content like that, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so that you're notified when new videos come out. Okay, so in the month of March, this is my March little cover here. And the way I actually do this is I just create a little cover page, and then I used to do all this other stuff, and then I just decided that just doesn't work for me. And then I just add in the books here, and then I give the stars. And then I also do, if my children have read any books, and then what we've done for our homeschool. So that's kind of how I keep track of it. But I really love how March came out. Isn't this so pretty, you guys? I love this. And then for April, my little cover page is dragonflies. So yeah, that was fun. And yeah, and for April, if you can see, I split it off Nathan and Faith, and then our homeschool. So that's kind of how I do my little reading journal, because I like to look back on here and just be able to see it all. And what I do is I go into Google Docs. Is it Google Docs? Yeah, I go into Google Docs, and then I just copy and paste the cover into it, and then I print it out, and then I cut and glue it into here, and then I give it the star rating that I gave it. So for March, I read 4 books, and I have 3 5-star books and 1 4-star book. And the first book that I read in March is called The Liar's Daughter. It's a cult-ish book. So that's why I read it. Okay, so pretty much this follows a girl named Piper, and she is 17 years old, and she gets taken out of this cult and gets placed into like her real family, and you find out how she got into this cult and all of this crazy stuff. I mean, it's cult stuff, so I mean, there's a lot of craziness that goes on in it. I really like cult books because there's just a lot of psychological stuff that goes on in cults, and just, I don't even know, that I think just really affects people. And I don't know, I feel like the more I read about this kind of stuff, the more compassion I have towards people who are really in cults, and it's sad. Like, they really are brainwashed to believe that this certain thing is truth when it's not, and just the psychology behind it and the brainwashing that goes on and stuff like that. I don't really even know what to say about it because I don't really want to give it away, but it's pretty much about Piper, and then her transitioning from being taken out of this cult and thinking that they've come to take her, and now she's not with Father Prophet and all of this stuff. And then she slowly finds out the truth that's really happening in this. It really reminded me of My Life with the Liars a lot, in the same aspect. I don't know, it was very similar to that book that I read a couple months ago. And yeah, so I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it, but it was good. I liked it. It was crazy. And all the stuff that you find out that was really happening in it, and it is just completely crazy. So yeah, I gave that 4 stars. The next book that I read is the 3rd book in the Baxter family's Redemption series. This I gave 5 stars. You guys, I have been loving this series so much. I feel like she covers like real life topics, things that Christians can actually go through, and you know, how people can struggle in their faith, and I don't even know. And then once again brings it back to God's redemption. But this one pretty much follows, it still follows like all of them, but mostly this one follows Luke, which is the youngest out of the Baxter family, and he's the only boy, and it just follows mostly his journey and his, like, how he kind of goes from believing in God to not believing in God, and then just all this crazy stuff that happens, and it's crazy, but it's really good. They also talk about 9/11 in this one, and I'm pretty sure in the second book they talk about 9/11 as well. So I just thought that was really good. I just love this book, and I don't know how much to say without giving other parts of the other books away, so I don't want to say too much, but it pretty much focuses on him and, you know, just what he's dealing with in his life. And yeah, I just feel like it was really good, and it just covered topics such as, like, he goes to college and his professor's like talking about, he's trying to disprove God pretty much. And I love reading about this kind of stuff because it just gives me more, I just feel like the Lord just, I just love stuff like this because I just feel like it gives me more insight in how I want to teach and train my kids in the Word, and preparing them for going out into the world, where the worldview is very different from a biblical worldview. So yeah, anyway, I gave that 5 stars, really good. So the next book that I listened to was M is for Mama. You guys, this book I gave 5 stars. It was absolutely amazing. I follow Abby on Instagram, and she is a mom to 10. And I look up to moms who have more kids than me. I mean, I look up to moms who even have like less kids than me, because I feel like you can learn from anyone. But definitely moms that have more kids than me, I'm like, I need to glean wisdom from you, because, you know, I just feel like, you know what you're doing. You got 10 kids. Like, I'm going to listen to any wisdom that you have, because you had kids back to back to back like I have. And I just love to glean wisdom and knowledge from moms with multiple kids and way more than I have. Because I feel like as the more kids you have, you know, obviously God graces us with it, but I just feel like with each kid I've had, God has given me more patience, and, you know, he's just produced in me so many fruits of the Spirit in me through my children. So I don't know. I'm like, if I had 10 kids, wow. I think, which I would love to have 10 kids. Okay. I would definitely keep having babies. But anyway, so this book says, okay, motherhood is a challenge. Unfortunately, our worldly culture offers moms little in the way of real help. Mamas only connect to celebrate surviving another day and to share in their misery rather than rejoice in what God has done, and to build each other up in hard times. There has to be a better way, a biblical way for mamas to grow and thrive. As a daughter of Christ, you have been called to be more than the average mama. Attaining excellence doesn't have to be unsettling, but it will take committed focus and a desire to parent well according to God's grace and for His glory. M is for Mama offers advice, encouragement, and scripturally sound strategies seasoned with a little bit of humor to help you embrace the challenge of biblical motherhood and raise your children with love and wisdom. Mama, you are worthy of the awesome responsibility God has given you. Now it's time to start believing you can live up to it. You guys, this book was so good. And I mean, I didn't even know how to explain it. That's how, okay? It was so good. She is so funny. Yeah, I loved her humor in it. And I just love all the realness, but in such an encouraging way. She did this book so beautifully. One of the things that I really liked what she said is, You know, the way one mom does something is the way that God calls one mom to do something is going to be different than the way another mom is called to do something. Like, God has called us each individually for our each individual kids he's placed under us. So it's going to look different. It's definitely going to be one that I'm going to have to read again, and I'm buying the physical copy because it was that good. And I need to mark up all the stuff. She also talks about a penny reward system, which I'm going to do a separate video on. It was so good. And we started implementing this about 2 months ago. And yeah, because it's May now. So in March, when I read this, I was like, we are doing this penny reward system. And it has helped so much. And I will be doing a video on how we do it. But I got the idea from her. So yeah. Anyway, M is for Mama. 5 stars. So, so good. And then the last book that I read in March is Memory Making Mom, and this is by Jessica Smart, and this book was really good. 5 stars again. I also listened to this on audio, but after I listened to it, I knew I just had to buy it because I need to mark this book up. It was really good, and I just really loved this so much. I feel like I was really into making memories with my kids, and then I just have had, these last couple years have been just really hard for me. Not even just because of the pandemic, like not really because of that, mostly because of, you know, my dad passed away, and then God opened my eyes to just like false teaching. I've had health issues and stuff like that. So part of me was, I used to be really like, have this desire to just make all these memories with my kids. And I feel like that desire started to like sizzle out because of all the difficulties that I was going through. I feel like this book helped relight the flame in me to continue to want to make memories, even when it might be exhausting or whatever. And I don't even know, this book was definitely 5 stars. I love it. I don't even know how to explain it, but she pretty much talks about, I'll just read the synopsis. It says, what's the secret to the rich, meaningful life that you're longing to have with your family? Create traditions that bring joy and purpose. Blogger and mom of 3, Jessica Smart, shares her family's journey out of monetary distraction and busyness to a life of celebrating what matters. In Memory Making Mom, Jessica explains why memory making is the missing puzzle piece today's families are longing to find. She highlights 10 tradition gifts that children need, and include a rich resource of 200 plus unique traditions, which is another reason I needed to get the book, because I was like, I need these all. No matter where you are or what your family looks like, you can begin today to create more adventure, more celebrations, and more meaning. Be a different kind of mom. Make lasting memories and breathe new life into your home. So this was really good. I mean, I have to listen to it again because I also started listening to another book by her, and I'm like confusing them too, the two of them. So I don't really know what else to say about this book, but it was really good. Because I bought it, I'm definitely going to probably soon re-listen to it so that I can highlight and mark pages that I need to go back to and I can easily reference, because y'all, it was so good. So those are the books that I read in March. Now, moving on to April, I read only 3 books. Oh, I didn't even give them stars in my thing. Oops. Okay, well, I'll have to do that after. So anyway, for April, the first book that I read was Sarah Mackenzie, The Read-Aloud Family. You guys, I don't know why I didn't read this sooner. It is so good. And once again, I ended up buying a copy of it because it was just that good. So I ended up buying the physical copy. I did read it. I did listen to it, and I'm pretty sure Sarah Mackenzie herself narrates that as well. And it was so good. And I ended up buying it because it does have a book list in the back of just different books for different age groups. So this book just talks about the impact that reading aloud has in your family. And it was so good. 5 stars, definitely 5 stars if I didn't already say that. It just talks about how powerful reading aloud can be in many different ways, and just the bond that it has. And yeah, oh my gosh, I just love this so much. So again, I bought the physical copy because I will be re-listening to that and marking down things. And I loved that it had all of this stuff in the back here, the suggestions, which is why, again, I bought this one too. So here's Memory Making Mom, and it just kind of has all these suggestions in the back for different traditions that you can make. So, okay, on to the next one. This next one, I am going to also buy the physical copy because I read a lot of nonfiction recently. I feel like I was in a nonfiction funk for a little while. Like, I just didn't want to read any nonfiction because there was a time in my life that I was only reading nonfiction. And then when I started reading fiction, that's all I wanted to read, because I was like, I've been missing out for my whole life not reading any fiction books. So I just had to read all the fiction books. So this one is a nonfiction, and it is called 8 Great Smarts for Homeschoolers. Now, this is by Tina Hollenbeck, I think that's what it says. I don't know. I'm trying to read this really tiny print, but Tina Hollenbeck, I think, if I'm saying her name right. I'm so sorry. I mean, wrong. I'm so sorry. But this book, I read this one, and while I was reading this one, I was also reading the 8 Great Smarts book, which is by, I can't remember her name. I'm going to post the picture of it here. But I was reading them both together, kind of, one at a time. And then I ended up finding the audio of this because I was reading them on ebooks. And then I found the audio to this one, so I ended up just listening to this one because I was practically almost done with it anyway. So I just wanted to kind of finish it up. This one I'm also going to buy a physical copy of because I just feel like there's so many things I want to mark and tag and stuff, because oh my gosh, you guys, this book is so good. Like I said, I was also reading the other book, The 8 Great Smarts, and the lady that wrote this book, she kind of took the 8 Great Smarts and made it into like homeschooler edition, and which I really liked because, you know, okay, the original 8 Great Smart book, this is so hard to talk about, I feel like, because I'm like going back and forth. So when I talk about one, I guess I'll just post it. So the 8 Great Smarts, she talks about how everybody is uniquely smart in their own way. Like, there is no stupid person. God has created us each to be smart in our own way. I've said this before in my homeschooling videos and stuff, but you know, we all have our strengths, we all have our weaknesses, and just because your strength, just because your weakness isn't the same as someone else's strength doesn't make you stupid. You are just smart in a different way. And I think there's 8 different smarts. This is why I need the book, so that I can just reference them. I can remember only a couple of them. There's logic smart, picture smart, body smart, self smart, nature smart. What are the other ones? I don't even know what the other ones are. Oh, people smart. I can only think of 6 right now, but there's 2 other ones. And I'm telling you, oh my gosh, this has just opened my eyes to so many things, because when you can understand the ways that your children are smart in, you can tailor curriculum and all that kind of stuff to their needs, which I already do anyway, but I feel like this, because after reading this book, it really opened my eyes to, because I homeschool, recently this past year I switched our reading curriculum again, and this one actually worked, and it's called Logic of English, okay? And when I read this book, it clicked. Wow, no wonder this curriculum works both for my daughter but also for my brain, because as I was teaching other curriculums, I'm like, I just don't understand how this is going to teach my child to read, having to memorize all these sight words and stuff. This just it didn't logically make sense to me. because both my daughter and I are logic smart people, it did not make sense. We need a logical reason for stuff for it to really click in our brain, because that's just how God made us. So, oh my gosh, you guys, this book was 5 stars. Like I said, I am getting a physical copy so I can mark that thing up. It is so good. And she gives different ways to help your child in every different area. So for language arts, she gives different ideas on how to help each child in their smarts, right? Whatever area they're smart in, that will connect with them. And that's the beauty of homeschooling anyway, isn't it? Like, it's just so fun to homeschool because I can tailor everything for each kid individually, you know, and I am just so excited. I love this book so much. I cannot rant and rave about it enough. So 5 stars all the way. I have to buy this book. I highly recommend also reading the other one. I am halfway through it, but because I think I'm like halfway through the other book, and because I already kind of understood what was going on, that's why I was able to read this and understand fully. But I am going to finish the other one too, because I just feel like it's good, and I'm probably going to get both of them. And then the last book that I read in April, I'm pretty sure I heard about this one from Oshina over at Oshina Gonna Read 'Em All. I'm pretty sure she did a video not too long ago. Maybe it was a while ago. I don't remember when she did. I just watched one of her videos, and she was talking about dystopian type books. And you guys, I really like the dystopian stuff. I don't know why, but I really like it. And she was talking about the book Legend, which is funny. This is by Mary Lou. And this book actually kept coming up as recommendations after I read the third Divergent book. And it kept popping up. And then when she talked about it, I was like, all right, I gotta listen to it. Now, this book is so good. It's 5 stars, or maybe 4 stars. I don't know. It's so good. I'm currently listening to the 3rd book in the series because I'm just like, I need to know what happens. So I gotta read them all. I feel like sometimes I do this with series because I get like sucked in, and now I just have to binge them all. This one follows, it's cool because like Divergent, I'm listening to the audio, and like Divergent, it does 2 narrators, and you go back and forth between the 2 main characters, which the girl's name is June and the guy's name is Day, and it goes back and forth between them, so you get to hear both perspectives, which I love that in a book. I love when you go to different perspectives. I really do. I just love it. And they have 2 narrators. So there's a girl and a guy both narrating the whole book, which I absolutely love. And the listening experience is just so good because of that. So this book follows June and Day, okay? And I'm trying to think of how to explain this without being confusing because, okay, so it is dystopian. So they are living in America, but America is no longer the United States of America. It has split, and you have, there are pretty much the rich people and the poor people, and June grows up in the rich people, and Day grows up in the poor sector. Anyway, what happens is there is a pandemic going on, and you're pretty much just following them both and just the different lifestyles they both are living. And actually June is going after Day for murdering her brother, okay? So I don't even know how much to tell you because I don't want to give it away. It's just so good. You got to read it. If you like dystopian, I highly recommend this. It is really good. There are a couple things that I probably don't like about it, but for the most part, I really love this book. It is 4 to 5 stars, and I like it a lot. So those are all the books that I have read in March and in April. If you guys enjoyed this, please please let me know. And if you guys have read any of these books, let's have a conversation about them in the comments below, because you guys, once I read a book, I just love to talk about it. So if you have read any of these, especially Legend, let's talk about it in the comments, because it's just so good, you guys. I really like this book. So yeah, that is all the books that I read, and I will see you guys in my next video. All right, guys, have a blessed day.